everyone! I have some time off work, so here's a year review of our stock tank pool and the beautification we've done in that time. Here's where we left off last year, when it was just a big hunk of metal. And here we are today. You can see there's bamboo fencing, tiki decorations, a stone and rock entrance, landscaping, a real pump and filter, plus it has a solar cover and a proper cover now too. So let's start with the bamboo. I got an 8-foot by 4-foot fence of 1-inch thick bamboo from foreverbamboo.com. I didn't get any footage of this, but we strapped the bamboo fence to a table and used a skill saw to cut through it. It wasn't a pretty cut, but it did the job. There was a wire going through the middle of the fence to hold the bamboo poles together, so I used some bolt cutters to cut it the rest of the way out. There's only one length of wire going through each section of bamboo now, so it needed something to hold it together. I got a roll of twine to tie the ends and the middle together. It's somewhat functional, somewhat decorative. I left long ties at the ends so I can tie the two sections together later. We got this Preserva wood sealant from our local Home Depot to give the bamboo a protective layer from the sun and the chlorinated water. We got the gallon to make sure there would be enough, but really the bamboo has almost zero absorbency, so we hardly made a dent in the gallon. We would have been just fine with the smaller size can. The cedar color matched the bamboo perfectly. You can barely tell the color difference from the unpainted poles on the left to the shiny painted poles on the right. This stuff is oil-based, so you'll want to use disposable brushes and containers. I brushed it on the entire length, then came back with a clean rag and wiped away the excess. Then I flipped half of the fence over and wiped away the drips, then flipped the other side and wiped away the drips, and went back and forth a few times because it really was pretty drippy. The next day I flipped it over to paint the back, but if I was going to do it again, I would have painted the back at the same time as the front by smearing those drips around. I let it cure for a few days and then tied the two sections together. Then I tied them around the back of the pool. The pool noodles stretched over the bamboo just fine, but we've stopped using them because they disintegrate too quickly out here. The solar cover was from Amazon. I'll put a link in the video description. We ordered an 8-foot cover, but they sent a 16-foot cover, so that's cool. We just cut it down and then cut a second one out too. This thing works pretty well. The water gets super hot on the top 3 inches or so, then you mix it with the cooler water on the bottom, so it's extending our pool season into fall. But it's already falling apart after 2 years. Good thing we've got that other half, huh? I had these 2 flagstone slabs left over from a garden project, and this green rock was at the house when we bought it. The cover is a patio furniture cover that's meant to cover a circular table and chairs, but it's just perfect for a stock tank pool. They have a 96-inch version, and you may be tempted because an 8-foot stock tank should have a 96-inch diameter, but let me tell you, it won't fit. I know, I didn't believe it either, but it's just too snug, so go ahead and get the 110-inch option. We did some landscaping with the trees and dry stacked these rocks to make a tier for the bistro set. We had some concrete work done and my mom and I used some extra concrete to make this bird bath. My dad drilled a hole through it for the sprinkler emitter so it refills when the sprinklers run. I can watch the birds from the pool, and one day we even watched a falcon taking a bath. I have some native plants lining the fence. These are desert bird of paradise. They only get watered from the laundry gray water that runs along the fence. The other plants are on a DIY polytubing irrigation that I put in last year. Does anyone want to know about DIY irrigation? Should I do a video on that? Back to the stock tank, we have a real filter now. It's a Best Way Flow Clear sand filter, and it's meant to go on its own above ground pool that already has the inlet and outlet holes and connectors built in. Since we aren't doing that, we had to make our own connections to the pool. I wasn't home when this happened, so there's no video of it, although I wish there was because my dad drilled the holes into the tank while it was full of water. He put his hand against the inside of the tank, and the pressure from the water kept a tight seal with minimal water loss when he drilled the hole. Amazing. My husband made these blue silicone gaskets, and my dad used a bulkhead fitting from Tractor Supply and some PVC fittings to secure the hose to the stock tank. After 3 or 4 months, one of the hoses split in half, and a week later the other hose split in half. So we upgraded to heavier weight gray hoses. Other than that annoyance, the filter works really well. And now what you've all been waiting for, the epoxy! It's not peeling up at all anywhere, it's secure as ever, but the color is changing. It was a little yellowed above the water line when we filled it in this spring, and now at the end of summer, it's pretty much all green and going brown above the water line. It looks dirty, but I promise it's clean. We might have to recoat it next year so it doesn't look so swampy. So that's it for the stock tank pool. Now we're remodeling our bathroom, kitchen, and laundry room. Actually, we started those last December. We might get the bathroom done this month. The kitchen, maybe next summer. So stay tuned for that fun stuff.